everyone. Welcome to episode 9 of Companion to the Companion. We are talking about a pretty fantastic show tonight. Don't we always say that? It's always the same. So repetitive, the show. This concert.
Well, it's the 100 best, so it kind of has to be.
August 14th, 1993. Tinley Park, Chicago, Illinois, I believe. Is it Chicago? Or it's Tinley? Where is it?
It's in the outskirts of Chicago.
The outskirts.
It's just outside of.
Right. I always imagine an amusement park outside of Chicago. Is that fair? Is Tinley Park an amusement park?
I was there. I was there for the 97 show, and I remember nothing about being outside of the venue.
Okay.
At all. Nothing. But I remember being there. I remember the gumbo from that show being awesome. I remember thinking the venue was trash because it's a shed, a summer shed, and I was under the pavilion towards the back, and the way the pavilion is structured up above, wrapped around, it's not just a flat roof, wrapped around are like fancy boxes. And so the sound just bounces off the stage and reverberates back off those boxes, and it's this weird echo clusterfuck of a sound. And
gotcha.
I wasn't a big fan of the sound at the show.
So an echoey show,
really fun.
In the same way that Ventura was echoey, or a different kind of?
Yes,
echoey?
But different.
Different, yeah.
That echo was like a long boomerang. This one was kind of a cacophony of ringing around. Not the best sounding show.
Right.
And, my hot take shouldn't be on the list.
Wow.
Which I'm just in this August 93 vibe right now. And there's so many incredible shows. I would immediately replace this with the 12th, the night before the 13th. Okay. And it was such an experience listening to the 13th again and really taking my time with it. And it floored me. Right. And then this show, I was thinking, okay, I haven't listened to this in a while. Everyone talks about it. And it did not floor me. I thought there were some moments.
Yeah.
But I think my broad analysis would be that being there, it was a huge venue. Right. And they just came off a small, indoor theater. And this is a massive outdoor theater. Massive. And the energy that they brought and that clean, precise playing, I'm sure being there both as a fan and as the band was great.
Right.
This might be a you had to be there kind of night.
Sure.
Maybe kind of like the Anaconda Theater was. But it has its moments. But I don't know about the list.
Okay, fair enough. I think I would definitely put it on the list, at least so far. I haven't heard. I should go back and I'll have to compare it to A12. And I guess it's hard to say with the list because it's like August is so good and all of these shows are so great in their own way. I don't even want to think about this in comparison to another show. So let's just kind of talk about it song by song.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the kind of bad sound in the venue, and I would just kind of bring up straight out the bat that I think this recording sounds amazing.
Yes, sometimes it sure does.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my headphones or my stereo or what it is sometimes. But because every now and then there'll be a show that sounds great on one, like headphones, but not so great on the stereo or the car or whatever. But this one, I tried it in all three. It was just like, wow, this thing can hear everything. So that was nice.
I listen at work sometimes too, and this sounded great, in a loud room at work when I'm prepping and stuff, standing there, and like it did sound great. I was very impressed.
So that makes me think,
and it sounded big.
You're right. It had like good energy, and it was very tightly played. I will give them that. Not that that's unusual for this time period. But started off, shocked us.
Yeah.
My comment was standard.
Yeah, it's just ripping out of the gate. Like there's a lot of that for me in this show. Where I'm like, that was great.
Yeah,
but
I agree with that.
Like great in comparison to, I have very good standard good on a couple of songs. Like they were just playing this song this well all the time at this point,
right?
And for it to step up and be one of those 100 moments, out of a storied career, does it deserve it?
Right.
But yeah, Chalk Dust was great.
I'm too easy-going. You're going to talk me out of it. I'll definitely be agreeing with
I'm
you.
hoping you're going to talk me into it. We'll get to the heavy hitters, and you see if you can.
Okay, the Gula was amazing. I thought. I will say though that we just watched the Dinner and a Movie, which was what was it, 7/24/93?
Yeah,
and that had Gula, and they both had that like where Trey kind of plays around in the intro, and he
I wrote nice tease at the intro. Like really, it thrived in summer '93.
Yes, yeah. It was clearly a peak time for the song.
Yeah,
but I did listen to both versions back to back, and if I had to choose, I'm going with 7/24. So
yeah.
it had something about the way it hit was like a little bit better. So I do think the Gula was great. It was a little jammed out, had a little extra something.
That show might be a great one to compare against this because again, Great Woods, they'd only played their, I think, Horde tour.
Yeah.
So being an opening act at a big outdoor shed, I mean, I've seen them a lot at Great Woods, and I love that place. It's a very close to my heart place, and that it was great watching that Dinner and a Movie. I hope they keep doing this forever. This is a lot of fun.
I don't think so,
but I would choose many moments in that show over this show.
Yeah.
But I don't know if in the entirety if I would pick it over this show though.
Right.
But anyway, we'll keep it.
Yeah, there's a moment
Divided
in the
Sky.
envelope that. What? Go ahead.
Yes, I know. That was my moment too. This was my very good standard good. I was like, it was great, and this pisses me off a little too. With so the headphones, the little you must listen to this songs in the Phish Companion. Antelope is the only part of the show that gets those. But then on the Fishnet, the jam chart, it's tons of songs from this. And this is the first one. And I don't understand. Maybe I'm not understanding the concept of what the jam chart is.
Yeah.
But if you're notating notable versions of songs, I have no idea why this is on that list.
Right.
Because again, beautiful Divided Sky. Fantastically played. Does it get really out there? No. Is there anything unique about it? No. It's just tightly played and great.
Right. Yeah, I think at a certain point, I'm just projecting here, but I think the Fishnet kind of was just like, when you look at this show, what songs should you check out? And I actually appreciate that they put things like the Divided Sky on there because I want to hear perfect versions. Like sometimes I don't want a jammed out version. Jammed out versions are oftentimes composed sections or a little janky in the transition. Now it isn't always great, but sometimes they get to a good place, and I'm very interested in those as well. But I also like to know these other sort of like, I know when I listen to this Divided Sky, they're going to hit every change perfect. It's going to have great energy, and it's going to have a little extra mustard too, which is really all you can expect from a 93 Divided Sky, right? I mean, they didn't get that out there at that point. I mean, at least in this one, I will say I wrote excellent was my descriptor, and I said cool, fluttery improv. So
it had a moment,
and I guess that was in the pre-silent section I wrote. And then I wrote they were really, really locked in, and Fishman had really great exclamations to Trey's phrasing throughout. And then there was a moment just before the kind of final composed push where Trey descends all the way down the scale. And I know that's like not anything special, and he does that a lot. But I just wanted to point out that I love it. I love it when he does that.
Yeah, and when it's done right in the right spot. And I listening through these earlier shows, I do miss, and I know his guitar playing's evolved in so many different and unique ways, and he's still such a true player and really can accomplish a lot. This Trey really, this is my sweet spot. It makes me really happy. Yeah,
I saw like online about some recommendations for 3.0, and I went and kind of listened to some 3.0 juxtaposed, like kind of at the same night I was listening to this. And I don't know what it is, and I don't want to seem like a grouch or a curmudgeon, but there's just something about Trey's tone in 3.0, so in some years more than others, where it just really grates on me. And as not a guitar player and not someone that understands filters and pedals and distortion and all that stuff, I just know in my ears here. And I don't even know that you could tell me what it is, but there's something about this era that I could listen to him all night long in 93. And it's so crystal clear and it's beautiful, and he can go soft and loud and dynamics, and it can be crunchy and distorted at times, like in Split, but it also can be just like so tender and beautiful. And it's just something that's missing in 3.0. It's not necessarily his playing. It's not the fact that he's not playing as fast, or maybe that the improvisational leads don't come to him quite as quickly, because I wouldn't expect that after so many years. Yeah. But it is just, I don't know if it's the guitar. I'm just rambling. I don't know what it is.
Your players change their rigs a lot too. And I know, not to get too techie, but 97, 8, 9 Mike Gordon was his SWR period and his massive rig period. Mm-hmm. And that Mike Gordon tone just is the end all be all of perfection. Mm-hmm. Like, I think all bass players, like, just seeing shows, and I know you were there with me at Ventura 98, like that Makasupa, when it drops the full octave, those bass notes were so big that it shook like an earthquake in that place. And then when he came back after the hiatus, he had switched over to David Edenhead's, which his tone just changed dramatically. And then you can go and watch online. It was before one of the MSG shows. They kind of do a walkthrough of their rigs. Mm-hmm. And you can see him talk about how he had to drastically reduce the size of his on-stage bass cabinets because it was causing interference with all the rest of the band members. Mm-hmm. And there's a tiny glint of sadness, I think, in his voice when he says it, because he had developed this monster rig that was so massive and powerful. And I feel like when he pulled back from that, I think his role in the band also shifted slightly. And, those things happen.
Right.
I think you have a tech that works with you. You have, the band, I'm sure, is constantly talking and meeting about tone and sound. And I think Trey's playing has become less direct notes and more, there's a lot of effects always.
Yeah.
There's washings and sounds, and it's very, he's filling a lot of room in a different way. Mm-hmm. Whereas at this point, he's just ripping beautiful, clean noted solos.
Right.
So it's mature, but at times I just want this.
That's very true and very eloquently put. I guess what I was describing or thinking about in my own head is, like, for instance, if he's playing a Loving Cup or a Good Times, Bad Times, when I hear him playing it then, earlier years, I don't hear ego so much for some reason. I don't hear a guitar player that's like, I don't know. It just sounds different to me. Like, it's just, it's grating. Like, for some reason, those songs are more grating to me when they're performed these days than they were back then. But
they
just
get kind
listening
of
to myself,
too.
I'm angry at me just for saying that. But it's just what happens.
And moving on to a grating moment, that feedback at the beginning of Horse. Oh my God, that one hurt.
Yeah.
But this was good, and I love a Horse Silent, and I thought Page really stood out in this one.
Yeah.
I think I like the youthful Page singing voice too. It's his boyishness really comes through in a great way.
Yeah.
Again, good version, quality.
I have the same notes. Love the acoustic intro. It had kind of like a cool trippy kind of reverb to it as well. Yeah. Enjoyed it very much. Yeah.
I miss the acoustic electric passback.
Yeah, just goes to show new songs. When they play those, when they're new songs, they really put the love into them. Yeah.
And then it moves to another song that is on the jam chart. And this one, I'm going to argue day and night. This was not good. I thought this jam was sloppy and messy and disjointed and didn't make any sense and kind of goes nowhere. Uh-huh. And when it jumps back out, it jumps out really weird. Real disappointing. It's Ice. And I'm a big fan of this song.
Right.
Well played, well executed. They get to the jam and it just meanders a bit and then stumbles back into the ending.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like as a band, you get to the end of this and you're like, wow, that was. Let's not do that again.
Yeah, it didn't stand out. I mean, I guess I wrote got pretty out there. But I do remember
They
it
were
being
trying.
kind of disjointed. Yeah, they were trying. Yeah, they were trying, but not really succeeding. You're right. It's not an ice I would go back to listen to and be like, oh yeah, this is great ice.
It's how the practice room fails sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're taking risks, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no one grabbed an idea and kind of ran with it for any length of time.
Totally.
And then Sparkle, which is, I wrote okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's good.
Which is the general thing. But then when it got to Split Open and Melt, my first thing was finally exclamation point.
Yeah.
Like I think the whole show took to here for them to really start to push a little. And this was one of my favorite songs of the show.
Yeah.
It was unique. I like this a lot. At around 6 minutes, Trey kind of abandons and starts searching, and around 8, like it got really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Really like mechanic and kind of flirts with this major key feel. I thought it was really different for a Split Open and Melt. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. That was totally really, really great. It was funny. I listened to the Split Open and Melt once, and I think I got distracted for just the perfect like 90 seconds. That's so that when I came back into the jam, I was kind of lost and I missed it just threw everything off for me. And I kept going, but then I knew I had to go back and re-listen to it. And I went back and re-listened to it, and I was floored. Just like you, I was like, wow, that was one of the highlights of the show. So I was really grateful that I went back. But you said it perfectly. I even wrote down the same time, like right around 6 minutes. So yeah.
Yeah, like it ventures away, and then it really, I feel like maybe the It's Ice there just wasn't enough listening. And then when it hit this, it was like, all right, let's really, like it syncs up really quick, and there's a real good band feel.
Well, I think the size of the venue
they do a great job.
Could have played into the first part of this first set, right? And that they're trying to keep it like a little bit more simple. Because there was this moment in Split Open and Melt that was a little bit later. It was like maybe at 8 minutes where things were starting to kind of like, I don't know if skid off the rails is the expression, but it's starting to get really chaotic.
Sure.
To the point where you figure like your average fan would be just like, what is this supposed to be happening? And then Trey kind of and right at that moment plays a riff that's like really purposeful. Like it has a lot of intent of just like, we're doing this on purpose. Like this is happening for a reason.
Yeah.
And then they all come together.
That was the key.
And I thought, oh, that was so cool. Anyway. So yeah.
It's mature. Yes, we improvise, but we grab this and we own what we're doing here. We're not I'm not going to go into a long discussion, but this is why I love bands that improvise and I detest jam bands.
Yeah.
Because there is definitely a difference. This is a band that is attempting to write songs on stage. They're attempting to go down paths that are totally different and totally unique, and they put the work in. They're not just sitting there playing solos over 3 chords for 7 minutes. Like this is great music. This is groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought I really enjoyed that split.
Yeah, the vocals.
And then to the most depressing Phish song that they have, I think.
Esther?
Yeah.
Well, see, here's my deal with Esther. It's only depressing if you know the lyrics.
Yes. I always find like, how do all these hippies sit here and love this song that is just the saddest thing? And it's a beautiful piece of writing and music. And the music does not fit the sadness. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Soaring, childlike music.
Yeah.
This is Trey's like his children's book side.
Right.
But yeah, it is very depressing. It hit me. I was sad.
A tranquil, emotionless sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably heard this song, honestly, like 20 times before I even decided to consider, like, think about the ending or what happened. Like, I mean, I guess I honestly probably, like, was walking around work, singing it in my head, going a tranquil, emotionless sleep, and never, like, put together that it meant that she died or any of that. It took a long time for me to, because I'm not a lyrics guy. I suppose I'm supposed to be embarrassed about something like that, but I think it just goes to show how into the music I was. Like, I would put that song on and just be completely enraptured in what was happening musically.
I think it's pretty insulting to Armenians as well. I think they've had it hard enough.
Yeah.
And then we're sitting here and just, this poor guy is just a murderer, basically. He's handing this doll that murders this little girl to her for really no reason. I don't see what her fault is. She's not the villain of the story.
Right.
She kind of has little character development. So she just seems stressed.
It has a European feel to it. That's all.
Yeah, maybe circusy.
Circusy. They like a darker ending. But yeah, there was a little in the intro. It was very well played, Esther, I would say, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the Fishman really had some great comedic vocal interjections throughout the show. I'd like to give him credit for. And one of them was in the intro to the Esther. He gives like a great little snort, and I couldn't help but picture the furry little beast man, as he's sometimes known. The gravity hurts, stood by his side with a bucket that swallowed his hands. His grin stretched the folds of his pasty white cheeks.
And this was the period with the shag and the goggles, and he was going all in on that. He's a very clean-cut, regular-looking human being when you see him in person.
Yeah.
Just a normal guy you would never pick out in a crowd, but at this point, that was a look. Cultivating that.
That beautiful long hair. And then anything else to say about Esther? Or?
No, that's good.
Yeah. And then Cavern?
No, you're missing the somewhat interesting, and I wrote extra mustard and sauce, Poor Heart.
Oh, yeah. The Poor Heart was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm such a Poor Heart, being good or bad, tells the tale of the show, and this one was great.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. You see it hit the split open and melt, and I was like, the end here was just great.
Yeah.
Like, the Esther was good, the Poor Heart was good, Cavern was like a nice solid closer. I'm like, all right, set 2, they're going to come out and just crush.
Right.
and I can kind of remove a lot of like the average, the good Divided Sky, the Ice that didn't quite work. I was excited by the end of the first set, and then when I really like laid into that Antelope that everyone talked about, we'll discuss at length, but I just, I left that not feeling as good as I thought I would.
Sure. Well, we're almost there. Poor Heart was great. Had more great vocal antics from Fishman as usual, and
it was an interesting Poor Heart.
It definitely was good, or even great, I'd say. I really like Poor Heart. That's a song I hope it doesn't get any hate, but every time they play it, I'm always happy to hear it, and every time I hear it, listening to it, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, the lyrics are funny, and it's bluegrassy, and everyone gets their solos, and I think it's dulled itself over time, because at this time you kind of never know, because if someone's really feeling it, I think they had a band understanding to just let them go.
Right.
There's times where Paige takes some extra bars. There's times where I don't know that I've ever heard Mike take extra bars, but Trey does a lot.
Yeah.
And it's great.
I can't believe it's coming up again, but in Ventura '98, they played that amazing Poor Heart with all the extra endings. I believe it had a free bird ending. That was a cool one that we saw in person. And
both of those shows at Ventura were so great.
And then Cavern, I thought was great. It hit really hard. Like it was just like
Chalk Dust opener, Cavern closer. You're like, this is classic stuff.
Yeah. All right, well, let's shit on this Antelope, huh? Oh, well, we got to get to the 2001 first.
So I did a little math. From 7/16/93 to 8/28/93, 2001 opened the second set 20 times. Like I remember it being pretty common to open second sets at this time. Mm-hmm. That is a substantial number.
Yeah. This is like they opened every second set with it, basically, right?
15, 30, almost half.
Almost half, okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Is it just a matter that they thought it was very clever and they wanted to share it with all of their audiences? I mean, I do think it is a very clever choice of cover. And it worked out really great for them in the end. I mean, I think probably if you would ask most fans these days what, make a handful of songs that they want to see live, that's probably going to be on a lot of lists.
I think the general public doesn't quite understand what happened to 2001 at the end of Fall 96 tour.
Right.
Because Fall 96 really falls by the wayside.
Yeah.
And there's some of my favorite Phish shows I've ever seen were the last week of that tour.
Right.
Really epic music that I think flies under the radar way too much.
Right.
And the Vegas show, of course, stands out, but that entire week was just, I was floored every night.
Right.
And every 2001, the Arco Arena one was incredible. The Vegas one was incredible. And that was kind of them opening that song up and understanding what it can do.
Right.
And then into 97, it was a really interesting piece of music. And it's still, it's kind of become formulaic in its new way now, I think. But there was that, 96, 97 period where it was still really unique.
Right.
I think at this point it was pretty boilerplate standard every time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I thought Mike was having a really great show tonight, actually. And he stood out to me in this 2001. But yeah, it was totally standard. Something I would skip,
But you come out on stage, you got, all the lights are down.
Yeah.
And it's just fog machine pouring off. And then like the slow slinking lights and you almost don't see the band. It's a really cool way to open a second set that you expect to dive deep into your mind and your soul,
Absolutely. And just thinking about it from a technical perspective, you figure you're starting the second set, you were a little distracted, so the second set starts, you got to smoke, maybe you need a second to pack a bowl or whatever, you got to figure out the logistics there. So maybe they started with Maybe they started with a Runaway Jim or a Tweezer and you had the composed section to work on it. But in this case, I don't want to be distracted at the beginning of an Antelope. Antelope is like,
Sure.
it's the goods right from the start.
Sure.
So, yeah, thank you for that 4-minute section at the beginning of the second set. So I can make that happen. And, yeah, Phish knew what was happening.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Then Antelope. I'd like you to get into this for a little bit. We can break it through its arrows, but...
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I would say is that, like, if you're going into this Antelope wanting to hear a traditional, Antelope, you're probably going to be a bit disappointed. I feel like this is more of a sort of like one of those whole set, or at least half set kind of jams, where they're just kind of stringing sections together. Although the Antelope proper, there is an Antelope proper, and it's got a fairly nice build. Although what I would say is up until about 8.5, 9 minutes, I was kind of like, yeah, it's okay. Like, it's nothing special, but that's kind of a long time for a 93.
Yeah, that's where I was.
So
it's like the It's Ice, where they're grabbing and struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, they jump right off the cliff right away, and they're fighting. And I wrote right around 10 minutes. So same as you.
I have 9:40.
That rockin' jam kind of kicks in.
Yeah, I have at 9:40. So this is what I want to say, because I think that there is a lot to critique in this Antelope. But at 9:40, they stumble on to Trey and the band supporting him. They stumble on to what I would describe could be like a career-long, like classic rock closing riff for any sort of like blues-based classic rock band. So fucking good that,
and the energy goes through the roof right away, because you can tell the band it's beautiful.
Yeah, it just kind of like happens all of a sudden, and then you're listening to it and you're like, my God, you could tack this on to like any sort of like big blowout rock and roll jam, and you'd be like, hot damn, that was awesome. And the band rides it for 2 minutes, and then they leave it behind, never to be seen again. So that was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
There's a few of those moments in this, but that was special.
Yeah, and then this is the thing with this set is I know that there's a lot of people that were like a walk away and a Sparks and just kind of boring. Like, it's just kind of like they're playing a classic rock cover. They're doing it well, and it's high energy.
Sparks is not classic rock.
It's not
classic rock. I'm not a huge fan. I like The Who, but I haven't been a huge fan of theirs, but I always found this an anomaly in The Who's repertoire. It was such an interesting piece, and then it solidified a lot for me in the same week we were talking. It's weird this show touches on this again, but the Cow Palace, fall 96, that show was incredible, and again flies totally under the radar, but I thought that the Sparks from that show was amazing. And that was my moment. I was like, I know this song. How do I know this song? And it really tied me back into being in love with The Who and in love with that song.
Right.
So every time I hear Sparks now, it puts me at the Cow Palace, which I was so excited to be at because, it's the Grateful Dead haunt for so many years. And I actually stayed at one of my professor's houses that night. It was just an incredible night.
Yeah.
But the minute Sparks kicks in, like, it puts me back there. And I loved it. I thought that rockin' kind of riff they found into a very classic rock band made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I didn't come off as like I was going to say something bad about it, because I loved it. And I really,
it was great.
Especially at this time in 93. I just think that this show deserves a little context. This is 1993. Think about what was popular in 1993. Yeah. Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Nine Inch Nails, like bands that were overly concerned about what their music sounded like, the production, that they were trying so hard not to sound like this. But this is what Phish was, and this is who they were. I mean, we just watched that 7/24/93, and their outfits not possible for them to be worse or more ridiculous or just completely laughable, but likable, lovable, totally lovable.
Yeah. Someone needed to get in there and help. Just a little bit. I was laughing so hard.
But they weren't, not because they were trying and failing, but because they just weren't trying at all. Like, just... They probably shouldn't have been leaving the house like that.
How does that service the music for me to dress any different than I dress right now?
Yeah, exactly.
And I appreciate that argument because, that's actually true. Because if we don't know what they were wearing this night, we're just debating this music many, many years in the future here and really digging into this thing that happened, and they could have been dressed like absolute fools. Who cares? But yes, in the moment, it's very silly. Yeah. And I think there is a connection to dress sometimes, which we've discussed already on this podcast, but Mike Gordon became a very fashionable man over the course of his career.
In his own way.
More so than that Great Woods show.
Yeah.
But their shows were like Vegas 96 with the sparkle pants.
Yeah.
He's wearing literally sparkly pants.
Yeah.
Or like Red Rocks in 96 as well, that summer, where he was in head-to-toe lime green. Like, he was trying some stuff on. I get it.
Yeah. But he was always kind of like a comedic dresser. Like, I'm going to go and find the silliest thing. And
whereas now he's just a snazzy dresser.
He is. But again, in his own way. Like, he found a way to kind of do it in a Mike Gordon way.
Sure.
But, even with like the lime green, I don't even think about that as a fashion decision. I think that is like a joke decision. Like, he wants to do something to make us laugh. He's not like wearing that so we look up and be like, that guy's fucking cool for wearing an all lime green outfit, But to bring it back to the music,
yes.
I think the Sparks walk away. I think just both choices they're fantastic. I mean, I just think like they could have played, Won't Get Fooled Again, and I don't know, whatever, Life in the Fast Lane or something, and you would have been like, this is a little cheese. But by choosing songs that are way off the beaten path, that kind of speak to the type of music fans they are. Like, I like Sparks. Yeah. I like this weird instrumental kind of difficult passage that ties things together and becomes a thematic unifier throughout this opera. I'm going to play this and kind of, but I know you're not really going to know it, but you're going to know you know it, but can't think of it. Like, they had to have been aware that was the effect that it was going to have on the band, just like Frankenstein, too. I think they knew that their fans were young enough, so they'd be like, this sounds really familiar, but what the fuck is this? And walk away. I feel like I got into Joe Walsh later on, but at this point I would have been like, I know I've heard this song, but I can't place exactly who it is. And so they're kind of introducing us to new
bands. And they just nail it. It's good. It's fine.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, I'm sure soon we'll be talking about the Bomb Factory, and that always slides into the Segway Fest. So it kind of making this appearance seems natural, but only with future reference. But it was good. And then I don't like that it's nicknamed the Tinley Park Jam. I mean, there's got to be a reason they do that.
Right.
But basically, they're just going back to Antelope.
Yeah.
And there has to be some legal reason why like paying out royalties for how many times a song's played in a show or something to that effect.
Right.
But calling something a Tinley Park jam seems strange. It's a short piece of music, and it's just Antelope.
Right.
And then it gets weird and disjointed again. And then they again jump into a really cool rock jam. This is the second rock jam.
Yeah.
I found that the first one and then this one, it's like 3.5 minutes or so into that Tinley Park jam.
Exactly.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like they were feeling that big arena rock and roll.
Right.
And both of those standalone moments, I get why people want to call this an Antelope that should be, lifted up.
Right.
I don't, It's like you said at the top of this, where do you just want a standard Antelope that's just amazing and well played?
Right.
Because sometimes you just want that journey.
Yeah.
This is not that journey, but there's some really great stuff.
Right.
I just think you have to filter through it a little bit.
Indeed.
And not everyone, I know you and I have that kind of time and willpower, but not everybody does.
That's true.
Again, I try to always see it through the eyes of the person who's maybe never listened to Phish, and they're just going through this podcast with us and trying to listen to each of these shows as I've been told this band's amazing, I should listen to this. So if I am that person and I've made it to this point, I don't know that this Antelope would blow my socks off.
Antelope, no. I agree. Just before we get too far, I just want to go back to the Sparks real quick, because you kind of mentioned that you do love Sparks, but you're not a huge fan. But I am a huge Who fan. Ooh, that was tough to say for some reason. And
huge.
And I would describe this moment as revelatory. And I'll tell you why. Because just like the sort of Cavern before it and some of these other songs, they were hitting it really hard. Like, really tight. Like, they were playing the song like they've played it a million times. They were not playing the song like it was just a cover that they were knocking off. They were like, look how we can hit every single change, and we're going to do a little bang here. There's even going to be a little improvisation here. We're going to rev it up a little bit here. And the Who were like an amazing live band, but they were very, it's kind of like, I don't want to say sloppy, but they were a little bit more expressionistic and like power emotion based in like a jam like this. We're like,
sure.
And like things kind of blended together. But Phish was playing it in a really kind of like tight, everything's
They're
kind
nimble.
of separate. Yeah, nimble. Thank you. In a very nimble way. And and I just thought, like, by the time it was over, I was in such a good mood, and I was so revved up by that moment that I think it probably helped give them some more, patience points in the jam.
And I do think Trey looks for every moment possible to show off how good a drummer Fishman is, because and this is that. This is a very Fishman, it's a drumming forward song.
Right.
And it's impressive.
Yeah, you wouldn't think like someone doing a Keith Moon, you'd come off it being like, wait, was he better than Keith Moon?
Yeah, but he
just different. Yeah.
Yes. Where were we? Oh, so the Tinley Park Jam, it says it goes back into, it basically smooths into Antelope.
Right.
And then Have Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Antelope. I thought all of the transitions through the end were great. Mm-hmm. And I thought that they, the way they tied Antelope together was slick and smooth and really well done.
Right.
And I think that separates this from a lot of the disjointed segues or tease fest that we've talked about before, where I like Have Mercy. I think it's really the slight accents on the vocals bother me a little bit, but for the most part, it's a really great finishing. It's a calm moment, and the way they tie Antelope together is perfect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So those two big rock builds, some sloppy playing mixed in, and some really great executions of these covers make this what many call one of the best Antelopes that has ever been played.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's preposterous. Like, that's not even what. Like,
but we can talk Segway Fest. We can talk like,
yeah,
you know, if we're gonna create a single song Segway Fest like the Bomb Factory Tweezer, which I can't wait to spend time on.
Yeah.
Does this exist in that canon of material?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Well, I don't think it's as good as the Bomb Factory, but I think it is a similar type of, like, if I'm gonna put like a jam fest kind of set, I would put this on there. And then I would also just kind of pose the question, how does this Antelope sort of jam fest compare to 11/30/94 or other Antelope kind of big jam fest? But yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, and I think you are talking me out of it a little bit.
I'm just being honest.
But I do like some stuff coming up in the set here. But yes, I don't think, like, if you're talking about like if someone said, "What's your favorite tweezer?" and they said the Bomb Factory, I'd be like, "Give me a real answer."
Yeah,
that's not what the Bomb Factory is. It's not a tweezer. It's just that's the frame.
Yeah, so. And I think this in the realm of this Antelope existing in a half of a set long piece of music, that Antelope is just it's the pie crust to the pie.
Yeah.
Does it deserve? I think it lives in its own world. Mm-hmm. And in that respect, I give it a lot of credit. I really do. I enjoyed the whole thing. I thought the beginning of the Antelope dragged hard for a number of minutes.
I agree.
And I thought when they came back to the Antelope after Walk Away, it also dragged hard for a few minutes. So Antelope was not working for them.
Yeah.
And pure just improvisational majesty was not to be found often. Mm-hmm. So weaving these songs in and out and using that as springboards for ideas, which, with Sparks and Walk Away, and then those two super rockin' jams, that like those pieces that came out that were very rock and roll.
Yeah.
I thought it made a lot of musical sense.
It did, yeah. I will end up saying that this song is like all about the classic rock. It's like the whole set's like an ode to classic rock.
The band is kind of all about 70s bar rock, and I try and tell people, I'm like, no, they put them with the Grateful Dead was like a bluegrassy
Americana,
kind of and the everything about Phish is just, they were like that. They wanted to be that 70s like long haired slimy bar band. They just got into so many other things, but that was their, like, they can just knock that shit out of the park.
Yeah,
and like it's awesome, and that's why people like. You get a lot of Whitecaps and frat boys at Phish shows because they're there because they love the guitar rock, and so do I. I'll be honest. It's good times. All right, we can move. Mound.
Yeah.
We can skip a couple here. I think Mound and Coil were just okay.
I really loved the Coil. I thought it was tight. I'm a big Coil fan, and I love Page's little solo. I thought this one was compact, and it was really good.
We've had some really good ones recently, so I think this one I was like, okay.
Yeah, it didn't get out there or anything, but I'm often the type of fan that kind of like, I'm looking for tight, compact versions. I don't know why, but I like to make mixes and compilations and whatnot. And I feel like the legwork has been done on the big jams. If I need to know what the big jams are and where the big improvisations are, I can easily find that. But I oftentimes find like just an absolutely flawless version to be very compelling on occasion.
And I would never, ever, ever. This is one of those songs that I want to hear every time I see them.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't, but I there's some songs I'm fuck really again we're gonna do this,
Right.
especially when I was seeing them a lot more, but now this was never one of those, and it's always great. It's always great.
Yeah.
I just eventually with that spotlight just sitting on page and really letting one man in a room of sometimes it's a few thousand, sometimes it's 30 or I don't know, we've been at big shows together too,
Right.
80,000 people, and it's one man with a spotlight and
Right.
a piano, and it's a really to not just not crumble under that pressure, but to thrive under it and to be free and childlike. And I'm a Coil fan. I'm with you.
Yeah, and the section, like especially in this period where the band kind of, I guess they do it all the time, I suppose. Some versions more than others, where the band kind of tinkers with Page a little bit at the beginning before they let him like totally go free, and the band is still kind of just adding a little bit here and there, just some polyrhythms or a little another little harmony. I just love that shit. That's what I like to call pure Phish. I guess think there are sections in Hood and sections in Simple like that, like where it kind of just first goes into that pretty jam where they haven't really hit, but they're all just kind of listening to each other, and you're floating and lilting, and
it's very breezy,
clicking
and just relaxing. Yeah.
So cool Coil, Daniel, so silly, but I love it. So
my only comment here, because I do love it as well. Well, two comments. One, I recently read they had to change the lyrics to make it less religious, but I do love and like old timey Good Religion kind of cover, and it's cool that they occasionally bring this back now.
Yeah.
But please, I know they did this all the time, and I know there are members of that band that are very into Super Sports Ball, but can we never ever at another Phish show mention a fucking sports score? Because if I'm in this at this show tripping balls and I am through this Antelope and then Mound and then I'm post Coil, I'm like, this was a breath of fresh air. I'm feeling there's non-existent rain raining down on my face, and it's cooling me and soothing me, and I'm so relaxed, and I'm on the other side of this big breathing thing that was the Antelope. And now you're going to tell me the sports score? Right. It's going to pull me right out of wherever I am. And I don't know why someone didn't sit down at some point and say, guys, I know you're into hockey or basketball or football, but, people that are here pre-cell phone, they don't really fucking care. Like, you're taking them out of the situation. Right. And it's bothered me for 30 years now, let's say. 30? Is it that long? No, 25. But it continues to bother me when I hear it in this. Right. Like, can we digitally edit out any sports scores so I'm not sitting here listening to this show now thinking, what the fuck do I care about this?
Well, I'm glad that you came out and said it, because that's not generally something I would complain about, but I don't like sports either, so I don't care for it either. I do like comments, and I do like chatter and stuff like that, but yeah, you're right. It does kind of, what it does for me is it just reminds me that I'm different because I don't care. And so
Sure,
there was like
maybe.
a weird ego attachment where I was just like, whenever they would do it, I'd be like, oh, do other people care about this? Because I don't. And then I'd look around and be like, am I the only guy that doesn't like sports? So
Well, I think it's different in that it's if you're so. I think the band is reaching for a band audience connection,
yeah,
and if you were deep in that, especially through mind altering substances, but even if you're just there, like deep into this with this band, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, my roadie just told me."
right,
Chicago Bulls 27,
right,
Phoenix Suns 13. You're like,
right.
what? I thought we were having this conversation, and now you're telling me sports scores.
Right.
Like we are. This is weird, and I'm not here. Like suddenly you're back at a rock concert,
Right.
rather than in the cosmos, really enjoying this thing.
Yeah.
It pulled me out of it just listening to it.
Yeah.
And many years later, here just listening to it, like I was pissed off. And I was kind of excited to go to the Yem because I'm such a Yem fan. I'm like, this is going to be great. And it really threw me off.
Yeah.
But,
fuck
yeah,
this show,
anyway.
man. I know, let's stop
Fuck
talking about
this
it.
show.
You're off the list.
So we're back to Yem.
Uh-huh.
There's a number of You Enjoy Myselfs in the world. There's different styles and such. This one also is jam charted.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
It's all the teases, right?
that's all that happens.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
The teases are funny and silly, and it's cool. And I think around this time, You Enjoy Myself had a lot of these.
Yeah.
But you just like it was good.
Right.
I had a really fun time listening to it. Like it's not a giant, deep jam vehicle, interesting piece as much as it was just really well executed, really fun, lots of teases, lots of. I feel like they didn't improvise because the teases just did that for them. Which I think as a band, I see how you could do that, but I also don't. I think following it up with Purple Rain too, you're a little too teasy comic relief. What are we doing here?
Yeah, they went overboard with the classic rock teases here, but I think that's why I kind of said, I keep saying this, but
yeah,
I think if I was going to see this band for the first time at this year in 1993, obviously I went in 1996 and I was hooked, right? But yeah, I mean, I just think that like hearing people like, this is the band for me. They understand me. They like all the same stuff I like. But I certainly know plenty of fans that don't like teases as much. And speaking of like psychedelics or just kind of being really into it, teases take me out of it a little bit too. Like when they're done like this, where I could be like riding a sort of like very Phish-like groove, which is very unique in its own way, especially in Yem. It has this particular type of white funk or groove, but it's very danceable for a person like me. And so I'm dancing, I'm enjoying it. And yeah, like sometimes when they come into it with like a, like I really got sick of
You're like,
Cat Scratch Fever, Smoke on the Water. It was
we're there,
right?
all
But
the time.
either way, as Trey would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does take me out of a little bit. So yeah, this wasn't my favorite. Yeah. But it was good. Like I agree with you. It was very enjoyable.
It was
Had
fun.
a cool vocal jam. Made me laugh a few times.
Yeah.
And I think in the moment it was fitting.
Yeah, it's weird to use. I think Yem at this point in a set in 97, 8, 9 was a very different vehicle than it was at this point, which was we're going to take the foot off the accelerator and we're just going to have a good time and we're going to roll to the end of the show.
Right.
Whereas later in their career, I think they were still ready to really get out there at this point.
Right.
This is fourth quarter, like early fourth quarter kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, a band that's really firing on all cylinders at this point, they're trying to still, they're not quite at the point of we've won you over, we're going to bring you home.
Right.
And it felt like they were bringing me home a little too early. That's all. Like, it was great. I liked it. But, yeah.
So Purple Rain was okay. I didn't like love the vacuum solo. I don't know.
Comic relief.
It's comic
they
relief.
kill the comic relief. They do a great job at it.
Yeah.
It was funny.
But I do think he did a good job singing the Purple Rain. And I enjoyed hearing the song proper. But every now and then he does put a really great vacuum solo on it. This wasn't one of them per se, but he's a talented vacuum player.
get enough Prince. Like I can't, And then I think a new single just came out this week, and I listened to it. It's like, fuck it, that man. I feel my children will probably still be hearing music that Prince never released that will blow their minds when they're my age now. No problem.
Right.
Like that's a force. That little man, the purple one, was just something.
Yeah.
So when I hear Purple Rain, like I like it, but
Yeah.
I'm also like, I don't like it to get too jokey.
Right.
I want it to be jokey, but also tipping a hat to a genius.
Right.
And this one walks the line. It's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I won't gush about Prince too much, but
I think Prince is okay with it. He's fine with it. They can get jokey.
Well, he's dead, so
Yeah.
he's fine with everything now, I would think.
Seemed like a humble-ish man.
Yeah, he's all good. He from everything that's come out since his passing, he seems like he's a fucking he's a trickster.
Uh-huh.
He's kind of a scoundrel in a funny way. He's sneaky and just all the stories where he just seems really naturally funny and okay in his skin, and just one of those humans that walked through the world
right
in their own way.
Why is pranking so big in the music community? That's fascinating. Well, let's finish this up real quick. We've got a Golgi.
Yes.
I said cool page additions toward the end.
Yeah. Always a good closer. I mean, the show rocks with classic set opener, set closers.
Yeah.
And, this encore was, it finishes your theory. But I wrote down Proto Julius.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure.
Because I love ZZ Top, and I think Tres Hombres is a great record, top to bottom. And I just love Mike Gordon's whole like muttering in this.
Oh yeah.
And this can tie us back one last time to fall 96 with the Arco Reno's LaGrange, which was fucking awesome. But the jam kind of has that Proto Julius swing rock feel.
Right.
I think Julius, as a closer to this show, would serve the same purpose.
I totally agree. And I it's funny, sometimes when I'm listening to a LaGrange, I kind of get that Julius feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just totally that the open cymbaled swing kind of thing and all the walking bass lines. And I feel like them covering LaGrange at a moment like this was like, we just need to write a song that does this.
Right.
It's very fishy, and they did. And Julius is perfect. I love that song.
So I agree. Let's make this a Julius love session. Love Julius.
Yeah.
And since you mentioned, ZZ Top, obviously they sing the song LaGrange. Shout out to DeGuello. That's my favorite ZZ Top album. It comes a little bit later, but for some, that one has like this sort of like the keyboards are coming, the synthesizers are coming in.
Yeah.
Has a little bit of prog in there. They were kind of getting sick of the blues and wanted to branch out a little bit. It's a cool kind of transitional album.
That band is they're not Texas, they're Tejas. It's very different. They're
Tex-Mex.
It's and somehow they really had a second wind with Sharp Dressed Man, and they were MTV darlings. I remember being a kid watching MTV and being like, who are these guys with the giant beards and the shiny sunglasses? I loved it. They're a special band.
Yeah, for better or worse, ZZ Top is responsible for giving me the fodder for some of my earlier sexual fantasies. So thanks, ZZ Top.
I'll thank Robert Palmer. I think that was it.
Well, I'm not just saying it was all ZZ Top, but when I was watching
Same time
legs,
period, but yes.
I was looking at the legs.
Yeah.
What else we got, Sam?
Brief discussion about the filler. That's all I'm going to do.
Oh, okay, sure.
Which is from 8/11/93.
Mike's Great Gig Weekapa.
Yeah. Mike's was fine. I like that they put this as filler. I think it's all for the Weekapa, which was pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
A+ improv, getting out there. This was 93 Weekapa at its peak. My only thing I need to talk about is this Great Gig in the Sky. Because is it possibly the worst music ever made? I cannot tell. Because you hear the chords. As a fan, I mean, Pink Floyd shaped my my mid to late teens, and definitely my early drug period of my life.
Uh-huh.
And I spent a large amount of time listening to all of Pink Floyd's catalog.
Sure.
And being very invested in what was happening.
Uh-huh.
And Great Gig in the Sky is a very important piece of music on a very important album.
Right.
And if you are at this show and you are getting deep into this, this Mike's kind of dark moment, and then those chords come in, and then it's I'm not afraid of dying, and you're like, oh my God, they're really gonna play this.
Yeah.
And then Fishman's shrieking, like, he purposely sings it bad.
Yeah.
And I get that. I get the humor, but are you pulling everyone out of their moment with humor?
Right.
And does it belong here? And why are we putting this as filler if we're like, this is a moment of, we really want to showcase this band, like at this one night, this was the highlight of the night.
Right.
It would be like putting this Antelope as filler on something else.
Right.
If the rest of the show was bad.
Yeah, it's an interesting call, because think of it this way. If they were to play this exactly, but they took out the vocals, and instead of doing vocals, Trade just took a melodic lead similar to that of Great Gig in the Sky, it could be incredibly powerful. In a really emotional way, but they're making this conscious decision to make it silly. So yeah, in this period.
And I love the silly.
Yeah.
It hurt me a little in my heart.
Sure.
And I went and listened to 4 Pink Floyd albums directly after this, actually. I was like, I just need to, I bounced around and picked randoms and just, it's like, this band fucking rules. And I love that they did this, but I was a little insulted. Just a little bit.
Right. It's a tough song to pull off. I will say that much. But yeah, I didn't listen to the Great Gig. I actually just listened to the Weekapa, and it was great.
It was great.
Yeah.
I skipped the rest. We can make recommendations. Skip the rest. Go straight to Weekapa. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm not sure about this show. I know when we get into stretches like 97, there's like 9 shows from fall 97 on the list. So we're going to debate some of those. But if we're talking about 3 shows in a week, this one out of the 3, and I haven't listened to Red Rocks, which is episode double digits, baby, 10. We're going to discuss next time.
Is Red Rocks next?
Yes. I remember loving that show. But
I don't think, well, we'll see. I don't remember it being as good as this, although it does have some real high highs.
I just feel like it's a classic good top to bottom, which is what I thought this was.
Right.
So I'm ready to juxtapose those two, and feel out if we're gonna say this is possibly the best week of Phish, and these are the 3 best songs or 3 best shows. We'll see. Yeah,
I can't. I mean, I can tell you right now, I straight up don't agree with that. But certainly compared to shows from other years, this is going to be the weird part. Is it as good as other shows in August 93? Maybe not. Is it better than some random show in 96? Probably. But we'll see.
We're going to speculate the shit out of all this. It's going to be great. And we're gonna be opinionated, and that's what we do.
Right. I don't really have too many recommendations. That it hasn't already been heavily recommended already, but I watched Bo Burnham's comedy special on Netflix.
I've heard it's great.
was
I've not watched it.
It was phenomenal. It really
Good.
was. It really
I
was
will.
an A plus. It was like one of those things where you watch and you're almost mad it's so good. You're like, damn. So yeah, highly recommend
Maybe that's
that.
what I'm gonna go do now.
Yeah.
I guess my only recommendation would be make sure if you do have children, you get them into They Might Be Giants.
Yeah. Oh, totally agree. Man, my
My
kids
kids
listen to
clicked this
know
week.
so much that album over and over. Even
Yeah.
the weird stuff. Violin, lin, lin.
They love the weird stuff.
Violin, lin, lin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just walks around the house saying violin. Anyway, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
with ya.
Particle Man really clicked with them recently, and then Older was the new one for them. And now
Right.
they're just they're very musical and they love a lot of music, but I also listen to some stuff that I'm not specifically proud of. So when I put on, I like all music. There's some, I'll leave it there.
Well, I did listen to Weekend in LA, which is a live George Benson album. And there are some moments of it that are, I mean, this is like when George Benson kind of like moved away from jazz and he's now doing kind of poppier stuff. So I'm sure this is not like looked upon as a great live album by jazz aficionados, but it does have a 10-minute version of On Broadway on it. And if you like scatting, I mean, get on it. It doesn't get any better. It just doesn't get any better. And then I had mentioned this to you, the song Ode to Kudu. I thought was really blew me away as well.
Yeah.
Well, gotta love some George Benson, and the new Can live album in '75. If you're into experimental music,
I listened to that right away. That was really interesting. I liked it a lot.
It had some really incredible grooves. I mean, you had to slog through some stuff, but then they would hit sections where you'd just be like, "Wow, I'm moving.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it."
And that was such a unique time to be doing what they were doing. Yeah. Bold. German.
All right. Well, that was amazing, Sam. Until next time at Red Rocks.
Yeah, I'm really excited to go back there. It's gonna be fun.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
We'll talk soon. Bye. Hello there, friends, and thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or would like to reach out to Ian and I about anything at all, you can find us at companion2thecompanion@gmail.com.